Hey guys, Kane here, and in this video we're going to go over the best 5 tips for starting out in the game. Now I've made a video like that quite a while ago and that video popped off, however quite a bit of that information kind of expired. So this video will be more like updating the expired information and probably adding or removing some others. So first things first, we're going to go over the heroes. Now, I've said before that Basric is the most overpowered hero in the very early game. It kinda still is the most overpowered in the early game, but the early game, I mean as very, very, very early. Like Castle from level 1 to level 25. Now, even if he's very decked out, he can still do decent in Void, he can still do decent in PvP, but not as much as another hero. And that hero is named Valerie. Now, her skills, her skill set, and etc. was a little bit updated, and she kind of literally destroys entire PvE content, sometimes even PvP, all by herself. And you don't really need that much of an investment as majority of the other heroes. Basically, this hero by herself will do the amount of damage anyway, and any additional item in terms of artifact, prism, and etc. will just increase her damage. Now, a lot of people will say, no, you need this and this and this, and no, you don't actually require a lot of like investment in terms of artifact, in terms of prism or etc. for her to actually do a lot of damage. Basically, we've tested Valerie throughout servers in the middle, let's say meta, in the early meta, and I know this information from the ground up. Maybe in the very late game, yes, you require a lot of investment for her to be useful, but not in the very beginning. That is why I did say such things. So basically, your skills should go as Lotus Fire, Crackling Flames, Burning, and Fire Dance. Basically, all of these skills have to be maxed, passives first, and then the ultimate last. That aside, this hero can solo clear majority of your PvE content in the version of like Kingdom Guardian, Pinnacle, etc. So the thing is, if you clear Kingdom Guardian, to stage 50 and all the other people are stage 40, they're missing out on a lot of materials, and those materials can amount to like $100, like $50, and if they miss again, like you add that kind of a disadvantage on them and advantage for you in the version of making the rest of your events a lot easier to compete against them. So keep in mind, if you do invest at least quite a bit into your Valerie, you will easily win events, win Linari, win resources, and etc. You can snowball very, very quickly. So the second thing which I want to talk about is spending money in the game. So spending money comes in a variety of forms. You can spend money to buy heroes, you can spend money to buy artifacts, or you can spend money to buy Linari and resources. So the main thing which I would suggest for you to buy, if you're going to drop like $100 on the game, is to acquire the Arcane Rod in the version of like this one. It looks like a blue thing, and invest about $65 or so with a specific pack to make this Arcane Rod to 5-star, overpowering Valerie to do like double the amounts of damage or even more than she may be doing right now. And the reason for that is you will clear PvE content just with one hero very, very easy. Like, if you want to buy something overpowered for $65, it's just 5-starring an artifact is all it takes. Nothing else will really give you that much power as one 5-star artifact, premium artifact for that matter. Basically, all of these packs, even though I've bought this one, I will explain in the third option, don't give as much value as something like this with uncommon advanced enchanting boxes. Now, the value can range from $50 to $85 across 2 of the similar packs. This one gives 80 as the first $5, the other one gives 112 for $5 of these materials. And some people can 5-star in the version of $50. Others need to spend like $85 to 5-star an artifact. So there are nuances like that, the difference of the pack itself and the difference of the currency that you're using. So if you're going to spend money, spend it on artifacts. If you do plan on playing the game for a half a year, for 9 months, for a year, for longer, and etc., your account will not lose the value. Now, keep in mind, I am VIP 13, and this pack came out like 6 months after, or like 9 months or 8 months after I actually spend money and play the game. So my account doesn't have any 5 or 4-star artifacts. My account doesn't have a lot of value just because of that. But if you do have those 5-star artifacts, your account will be insanely high value. So keep in mind. Now, let's go through the events. So the events, they come in different shapes or forms. There are events which grant you Linari for participating in them. There are events such as like mini events, which if you participate, you rank higher and you're able to get rewards in terms of Linari. As you can see here, additional boxes and additional rewards for passing a qualified stage and etc. There are quite a few of events, and usually a lot more during the week, not so much on the weekend, like logins. Currently we have Halloween party, as well as the Halloween pumpkin market, blooms of rebirth comes monthly, and etc. So in the version of this event, you would require to spend 3,000 Linari. In the version of the weekly rewards, and you also get a lot of rewards in terms of what's shown on your screen. So the thing is, I've actually bought a specific set in the version of an artifact, and I wanted to spend a little bit more money so I would not lose the level 10 pack. Now, if I would not have bought the artifact, I would not buy like these basic packs for whatever, just because I would save up and or buy this $5 packs, then 10, then 15 or 20, and then 50, and etc., just to upgrade those artifacts. Like, these don't pose that much value as much as this one. So do keep that in mind. If you're spending money, you really have to buy these uncommon advanced boxes. It's like 500% efficient over almost any other pack. Now, the fourth thing that we're going to talk about is efficiency. So efficiency in this game can come through a variety of things. So one of the things can be using your research percentages, your construction percentages in terms of like the cities. As you can see, research 10, building speed 10. So if you're queuing up a building, you have to sit in construction 10%. If you're queuing up research, have to sit in research 10%. Then you have to have another dragon at least level 12. And what I mean at least level 12 is because of the 3 yellow skills unlocking particular benefits, which are upgrade research by 5%, then you have another research by 10%, and then you have construction by 5%. So you will need to deploy this to get those percentages, then you sit in a city to get additional percentages, and then you queue up all your research and you reduce a lot of time from that research, which essentially you just gain that amount of time. Or rather, you would not need to spend that time to actually upgrade that research. Now, that is one type of efficiency. The second efficiency is if you're spending money. Now, for instance, if I would spend $100 straight up, I have a couple of choices. So I can go back to this pack and spend like $100 and get a 5-star artifact plus a little bit more on the side. And if I had another $100, I would go through the packs and then I would see, oh, I have double Linari, $100 purchase, right? I get 14,000 Linari. I get 100 of these candles For additional event, that's pretty good. Like I get Linari and additional stuff. I go to this event, I get materials from opening these squares, right? And believe me, I wasn't lucky because these are like literally the worst that you can get. Then after I reach the next stage, and you would actually get to next stage with $100, you get additional reward with what you choose here. And the most efficient one is the rare prison box, because I don't think all of the others would amount to the same cost through variety of other features as the rare prison one. That's why I selected it, because it's efficient. I would get this, but not only that, by unlocking the next floor, I also get this, right? So it's additional rewards, and because we have an additional event, it's becoming a doozy to even say it, I get more stuff for another event. Now, if we go to that event called the Pumpkin Market, you unlock more stuff in the version of collecting the cat coins. I will unlock the 6 and the 15, and then I can spend those coins here, which is more rewards. Like, it's becoming confusing, but essentially it's a lot of shit that you can actually gain and upgrade. So in that version, I've already spent my stuff on it. I've even made a video of this event, of all other events, and etc. So if you would require, you can essentially subscribe and keep checking my videos if you would require some information in regards to that. So essentially, you have to pick when you're spending, on what you're spending, and why would it help you. So basically, my tip for you is to buy this. And if you want to spend anything more, then you wait for a particular event in terms of this, or overlapping events in terms of like even the bloom, or even other events which are overlapping. And then you can either buy like double Inari, which is like showcased here, or buy sets in the version of like the artifacts that you still don't have, and etc. Like, you have pretty much a choice. And last but not least are the building rushes. Now, there are a few things that a few players starting out may not know and also not use them properly. So whichever player that you will ask which has played the game and reached castle level 50 in 1 year, 1.5 years, etc., they will tell you only spend your building rush on research, even if you're new in the server, even if you're new in the game, and etc. And that kind of information is one of the worst that you can actually find and use. Pretty much because you just cannot spend your building rush on research ever for the first like from 3 to 6 months minimum. And I do mean minimum, and if you're playing events, you're getting even high quantities of these building rushes, and even then you cannot just spend it on research. Now, the reason for that is the higher castle level you have, the higher the army you can use, the more stages in events you pass, and the easier those stages become. Now, there are a lot of aspects that come to PvE content, PvP content, and etc. But essentially, higher army tier, easier events, more Linari, more rewards, and it just snowballs in that kind of a circle. So for example, if you would not upgrade your castle level, so let's say if I would not have upgraded my castle level and instead research, I would be castle 42 or 41, more or less, like 42 perhaps. All of my heroes would be 5 levels lower, so Valerie would be 55, Basric, Nora would be, I don't know, 57, and then I would probably have increased the research so much that I would make Valerie, instead of 55, I would make her 57. Gladiators, probably a couple more as 57s, just because I would have a lot more experience in my hands instead of leveling heroes to 60 and 62, because that takes like friggin' 20 million. So yeah, I would be able to use a couple more weaker heroes at that particular time. I would not win events at all because all other people would have a lot stronger army. I would not win a lot of PvP in the version of like stronger people, and it would just go downhill and go downhill and downhill for like minimum 2 years until, yeah, well, like those people, like when you reach castle 50 and the other people who raised castle 50 but they got a lot of Linari from those events, from other PvP events, PvE events, etc., that you did not get, like they would reach the same stage as you, but essentially they would have enjoyed the game a lot more than you, and you just suffer throughout the entire game by not raising your castle level. Now, I'm not saying to only spend the building rush on your castle level. I would suggest spending your building rushes until you reach castle level 40, probably castle like 42 or so. I think I've spent it up until castle 44, and then I just severely started upgrading my research. The reason for that is it made me very competitive in a lot of events until I had my Drake merge. I've literally won every single event. If not one, I was top 2 100% in most of them. That is where majority of my Linari came from, majority of my resources came from. However, you're not going to probably rank top 3 in most of the events, so perhaps raising your castle level till 40 is the best stop, and then focus on your hero research. At least that is my advice. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. Hopefully this was useful for you. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there.